Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode, Philosophies of the Universe. Make sure you're in a nice, comfortable spot. Get your whiskey. Get any drink you're drinking or anything you want to smoke and just relax. I don't really have anything planned for today, honestly. I don't have a guest either. I'm going to be just kind of talking by myself, which I'm totally fine with that, honestly. I'm pretty used to kind of going over my thoughts out loud, which is totally fine, honestly. Yeah, but I hope you guys have had a nice week. The date of me recording this actually is Monday, February 22nd, if I'm not wrong. The weather was fine today. If I want to start off with that, there's nothing really too special. Didn't snow or anything. It rained though, but I don't know. I've always found like it really soothing and nice when it's raining outside and you're in your house, just like relaxing, listening to music. I don't know, like you get like, and same thing like with like driving. Like when you're driving, it's like that same vibe. Honestly, when you just put on nice playlist, just driving through rain, no cars around you on the highway. That's probably the best part, because especially if you live in Massachusetts, it's a bitch and a half. I can tell you that much. It's not fun at all. But some people be driving really stupidly though here in Mass. It's pretty bad. If you guys live in, or whoever does listen to this, if you live in Mass, you know how Boston gets and how the highways around Cape and Boston and 95, 90, 495, like they get pretty bad sometimes. And like I've always realized this too, like when you're driving and you hit traffic for let's say, and it slows down, right? And then you realize it's an accident. And then as soon as you pass that accident, you pick up speed again. So what theoretically what happens is people just stop, slow down, just to see what the fuck is going on. And they create traffic for everyone else behind them, because it's like constant chain, until the accident gets cleared. You're not going to go any faster. So I always wanted that. I'm like, that's like, I get it. It's interesting to find out what happened, who got hurt, but like it's kind of messed up. But I mean, like that's literally what traffic is. It's either construction, road work, which is the same thing, or there's an accident. People just slow down. Usually they don't. I mean, if it's an accident like in the middle of the road, they're not gonna close down the whole like all the lanes. They're maybe gonna close one. But if it's on the side, which most accidents are, people just pull over to the side. It's. I mean, there's nothing. You really shouldn't really have to stop. Traffic, like I've also realized this too. Traffic could also be caused by people that are just like speeding and they get stopped by a cop, and then literally all of a sudden people just want to see what that guy got pulled over for and see how many police officers are there on the scene too. Like, to me, I was just like, listen, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. But yeah, traffic does suck around here. That's why I like driving around at night, because it's so much more calm and peaceful. I mean, where I'm from, which is the Cape, which is so much better in the wintertime anyway. We get a lot of tourists in the summer, which if you live on the Cape, you understand. It sucks. Having tourists in the summertime, it really, really sucks, because not only they slow on the highway or any of the roads, there's like garbage everywhere after them too. Like, I get it. Like, you're on vacation, you don't care about shit, but like people live there, and people also kind of want to enjoy the Cape too when they live there year round. I'm not talking just for the summer. So that would be appreciated if you actually cared a little bit more about the environment year round, but it's whatever. People are always going to be people, honestly. So that's like a good segue into jumping in how as a human race, we're not there yet. And it's true. And I'm not sure if we're ever going to be there in the near future, at least, because we're still going to be animals in the end. Like, we still have wars over resources. We still have wars over nonsenseless stuff that you honestly shouldn't be even fighting about. For humans, it's always been essential. They either need water, food, shelter, sex, or things to just keep you busy. Like, it's so funny to look at society right now and think that we're advancing into the future when in reality we're not really advancing as a society rather than the technological aspect of it. Like, I do understand that technology is obviously getting better and we're creating new stuff for the future. We're creating electric cars, we're creating AI, we're robots, this and that. But like, are we really changing us as people? Are we really learning from our past mistakes? And I don't think we are. Honestly, we aren't learning from the thousands of years we've been alive and done horrible stuff, Not too long, I mean, still in parts of the world, just slavery is still prevalent in a lot of countries, and it was huge back then. And to think that we would even enslave our own species or like own human race, like that's not too far off from being prehistoric animals, honestly. If like I heard this theory, or not this theory, I was reading an article not too long ago, I think it was like a month ago, about how aliens have been in contact with the U.S. government. And I thought about it. I sat on it and I thought about it. And I said, okay, say if they were. And apparently what they said was, the aliens to the government, they said that, oh, you guys aren't ready for us. And I mean, I agree. we're definitely not ready for aliens because if we are still doing these things to each other and we're still hostile and we're still like polluting our atmosphere and polluting all our rivers and lakes and just not giving two shits about even the place where we live on, how does that make us ready or even close to be ready to meet an extraterrestrial life force that's not even from this galaxy per se? To think that we could even coexist with them is beyond the realm of thought, because what could happen next is that we would just either A, start taking them for advantage, or B, use their technology to enslave our own race again, because sure as hell we're not going to be doing that to them since they're really advanced. They could, if they wanted to, they could wipe us out easily, I think. But when you're an advanced society like that, technologically, and you could jump between galaxies and, wherever you want, right? I don't think you're going to be necessarily be hostile, because I get it. If you have all that power, right, you can go around enslaving planets, taking over planets, just expanding your civilization. But 9 out of 10 times you could actually do that in the more peaceful approach, one, and two, actually having all that power could actually be your downfall. And I think the higher beings would understand this way better, and they know that they could coexist with each other, that if they do work together, they could even progress even faster and even farther as like a whole unity, as a whole group, and we can't even do that. And we can't, and that's what I'm saying. How is it possible to expand farther into the universe? Even with our technology growing, we as a species, we have to grow with it. Because if we don't do that, it's going to just lead to the eventual downfall of humanity, which is so far is looking like what it's going to happen. It's really sad when you sit down and actually think about how far humans have come, only to start kind of destroying ourselves for what, for for power, for wealth, for fame, for all this stuff. Like these simple things, I know that they shouldn't matter, and I get it. You're living one life, and you want to do the best you can for your life, but you have to understand that after this life is not guaranteed, and even before this life was not even guaranteed, what is guaranteed is that you are alive and you're breathing at this moment. And that's all, that should be the basis of all your beliefs, is saying that I know 100% that I am alive right now. Because you do not know if you're going to wake up tomorrow, and you do not know what happens after you die. Per se, you could argue, and a lot of philosophers argued that, in fact, when you die, it is the same thing as when you wake up. You do not remember before you were born, so how would you remember after you died? All you know is that you are here in the present moment, and that is true. I agree with that 100%, and I think that's a great way to look at it. And you could argue that, yes, I do have one life. Yes, I do want to enjoy this life as I want and how to see fit. Okay, I agree with that, and I accept that. And that's fine, because that's, if you want to think like that, that's your life, and that's how you want to live. But are you actually, in a sense, going to be happy when you die? Are you going to be happy that, yes, I had all these materialistic things, but did I ever understand the true purpose or the true meaning of why I was here, or what lies beyond my life, or just out in the universe? I think it's not right to just put yourself in such a small and selfish way of looking at life. And yeah, I get you could worry about yourself and only yourself, but being selfish only comes to a certain point where you have to start looking and caring about why. You have to ask that question, why? Why was I brought here? Why am I alive? Why has this universe turned out the way it did? And it's hard to think about that stuff, and I get it. It's overwhelming for a lot of people. But you should really sit down and kind of contemplate these things, because you're only benefiting yourself in the end, because you will understand yourself as a person more. You'll understand your morals. You'll understand your values and what you're looking for, and you'll have better experiences in life when you look at it in the broad spectrum, as if you were born on this planet and you didn't even have to be born. The probability of you even being born is so slim. You should be so lucky and so happy that, once again, that you've been brought here. And religion has definitely tied a big point and emphasis on living your life, but then again, it implies that you should live by a set of rules and codes that you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. I get it. It does set a standard precedent and rule and laws that a normal human being should follow, and to live peacefully. I get it. If I can argue that why religion was even brought here and made in the first place, I would say, in my opinion, is to set moral, ethical standard codes back in before, I could just say BC, because back then, we were worse than we are now. We ran around killing each other like it was nothing. So that's why I feel like religion could have been thought of or brought into this world, so people could live peacefully with one another. And I respect religion for that. And I'm really happy, but do we need religion to be like that? How can we understand that we can be peaceful, that we could learn more about each other in the universe without being so aggro towards each other, and be more passive and care about the more simple things in life, you know? Because, I mean, not too long ago, we were just throwing sticks and stones everywhere trying to get food. And it's, once again, the progress of how far we've come is just, it's immaculate, definitely. But like I said, it's nice to just meditate and get some time to yourself and just think about, what do you want to do? What does your future look like? And I get it. Some people get anxiety about thinking about farther into your future and what you want to do. But then again, you should also realize that none of this stuff actually does matter to a point, because yes, you're brought into this world for who knows why, who knows how, but you could also just say that it's not worth living if you know you're going to end up the same way you were brought into this life, or before you were brought into this life. It's just you don't remember. And you can argue that life doesn't matter. It's pointless. And it makes sense, because, you know, you're just a species of human just on this rock floating in the Milky Way in a galaxy. Or, I mean, Milky Way is a galaxy, but I'm talking, the universe, I meant to say. And you look at that and you're like, what's the point? You know, you're not going to be known around the whole universe as who you are. So what's the point of doing this? What's the point of doing that? What's the point of being, like, famous and stuff? Like, that's why I look at, like, famous people. Like, yeah, I get it, they're all happy and stuff, but, like, when you die, we're all equal. It's true. When we all die, and when we are all born, we are all equal. And maybe that is when I think is the perfect time to just sit back and look at humans and be like, listen, we have to work together, because I get it. It's in our nature to be better and prove that we're better than one another. But imagine the things we could do and overcome if we all just came together. I sound like a real communist right now. It's bad, but theoretically, that's how it would work if you were an advanced civilization with technological powers flying throughout the universe and Milky Way, galaxies, and so on and so forth. But that's like a great way of looking at it, in my opinion. But other than that, you're just you know? You are in the universe, and you are the universe, essentially, because when you die, you cease to exist, so the universe ceases to exist, right? Because you can't say that, the universe goes on after you die. How do you know that? You can't prove that the universe goes on after you die, because how would you know it goes on after you die? You can't. Because if you bring back to what I was saying earlier, is if you don't remember what happens before you were born, so after you die, how would you know that too? You can't. So therefore, also, people are like, I am afraid to die. You shouldn't be afraid to die. You should be afraid of missing the things you could have done or improved in your life before you died. Because after, it doesn't matter. You're not gonna remember it. You can't feel something when you don't exist. I think Alan Watts, a famous philosopher, once said this. Let's see if I could pull up the quote on death, life after death quote. It was a very interesting quote. It's crazy, because when I read this, I was like, it makes sense, because you can't feel that, you know. Oh, okay. So This is a good one. Instead of fearing death, we must accept it. Whether we like it or not, it will happen. Death is the only thing that is promised in life. And that's true. Because, I mean, also understanding that you die gives you a better purpose to life, I would say. I mean, it gives better purpose to everyone when you understand that you don't have too much time left and you should enjoy the time you have experiencing, traveling, and going throughout the world and just learning so much more about yourself and others around you. And to that seems like the more healthy lifestyle of living, you know? And I mean, you can easily say that an alcoholic or someone who, does drugs or whatever, they might say like, oh yeah, but I'm just experiencing life. Yeah, but you don't have to kill yourself and experience it. You're only delaying and shortening your lifespan. So who's winning at the end of that, So I get you could go around and you could be a hoe, you could drink, you could do drugs, you could do just stupid stuff, but you have to realize you're shortening your life to explore the other parts and experience the other parts of this world that is not guaranteed. Because we all know nothing is guaranteed in this world. Nothing. I get it. Whether you're a poor person that was just born on the street or a rich person a kid that was just born into a rich family, you aren't guaranteed nothing. And the way the cards fall, they fall. It's what you do with that hand of cards. It was essentially what is going to turn you into the happiest and fulfilled human being in your life. And that's a great way of looking at it also. Knowing that you could be on your deathbed, knowing that you are more happier than the richest person alive because you didn't need money and materials to understand how beautiful your soul or your life was. Because you felt real emotions, you experienced real things, you knew what it was to truly be sad and truly be happy at your most lowest and highest times. You have felt everything that the universe could have given you. I'm not saying every single rich person doesn't feel like that too, but I'm trying to get a point across saying that materials and everyday objects and social media, these things do not matter as much as they do, or as you think they do in everyday life. And essentially, I think this is. So I really wanted to talk about this. So this is going to be a really short little podcast snippet because then again, it is kind of hard to talk to yourself about things, but that I think I really wanted to come across and put that out there because we've been really forgetting that you can be happy and you could even be by yourself without the use of social media, Like, there's so much more out to the world. Instead of, seeing a picture on Instagram or on Twitter or of, a place, go to that place, Don't just look at it through your screen and be like, oh, that's really beautiful. That's not beautiful because you're not there. You're not experiencing, you're not sensing with all your senses what that place feels, smells, tastes, how it hears, how it tastes, just the smell in the air, all these things, they factor in to experiencing something for real. And that is just what I want people to understand, that don't let social media control your life. It shouldn't control your life. And if you feel like it is, take a step back. Start cutting some time off your phone. Start cutting some time off of just getting into politics, entertainment, and following all these famous people, what they're doing, what they're eating. That stuff, it shouldn't matter to you. It shouldn't matter to your happiness. It shouldn't matter to your health. Because in the end, you're living your life. you're not living their life, you shouldn't care. You should care about you, what you're doing, what you're eating, how you're traveling. Because the more time you spend on them, the less time you have for yourself in the end sequentially. So people, ladies and gentlemen, just don't forget to just take some time for yourself every once in a while and experience what you really want to and feel what you really want to. Go on trips by yourself or with your friends and just try and disconnect from like the virtual world, or just disconnect from work, the everyday stresses of life. Go out there, travel the world, go fishing, go hiking in the mountains, go biking, go play a sport. Just travel and learn so much more, and I guarantee you will feel so much more fulfilled and so much more happy with how you're living your life. So besides that, I think that's what I really wanted to lay on everyone. It was a pretty short podcast. 20, what am I at? 26 minutes? Yeah, I mean, there's really not much I wanted to say, but I think this was a great topic to kind of just get out there and have people listen to and just kind of understand. I know my last podcast with Cello as my guest was a lot longer, obviously. For this week, I just wanted to shorten it, see what I can do by myself, try this one out. And if I like this more, then yeah, I'll do this a lot more and I'll bring in more topics. But I was planning on getting another guest for next week. And I also had another guest wanting to talk about AI and artificial intelligence and robots and, stuff like this. So this is not the end. This is just a little video just to put out there and be like, hey, I'm still thinking of you guys. I still want you guys to know that I care about people's way of thinking about the universe and stuff. So, and helping people grow as a person, because that's really what I'm here for. And if you've made it this far in this video, then I'm really happy that you've made it this far. I personally, if you hear this, I just want to say, I want to help you. I want to help society. I want to help people, everyday average people, realize that they are more important than they think. And you should care about yourself and the way you think, act, and express your feelings and emotions, because we don't really take the time to think about ourselves anymore. And I just want to help people out like that. I want people to understand their life. I want people to understand their dreams, their desires, and grow. The most important thing, I want people to grow and mature in their life and understand these very simple but interesting things that I talk about on here. So, other than that, I really hope you guys enjoyed this quick little podcast of mine that I made. I'll definitely be back in the next couple of weeks with a new guest and a new topic, definitely. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys had a real nice time. Thank you.